What is up? DSP here, and this is a special video which I had promised I would make. What we're going to do today is we are going to take a look at some of the classic games which I have purchased over the past several months since John Rambo and I discovered the two Game Exchange stores in our area here in Connecticut. Now, if you're not familiar with Game Exchange, it's a game store like any other. They have the popular releases, the new releases as they come out, but they also have an extremely large selection of used games. And we're talking, you know, current consoles, so Xbox 360, PlayStation 3. We're talking last generation, so Xbox One, PlayStation 2, Nintendo GameCube, Nintendo Wii they do have as well. Sorry, I forgot that one. Handhelds, you know, Nintendo DS, Nintendo Game Boy Advance. But also, they deal with classic games. So you're going to find at every Game Exchange a limited selection of like NES, Genesis, Sega CD, Dreamcast, Super Nintendo, all that kind of stuff they have. And so what we're going to do is go through what I've gotten over the past couple months to show you how I built up my gaming collection in particular, and some ideas that I've had for things that I can do in the future during downtime when there aren't many new releases coming out. So first of all, what I'd like to do is move up here and move some of these boxes and things, okay, that are blocking my gaming collection, just to expose some of the games that I have back there now. And oh shit, that's not good. Where did it go? The decal just flew off my Pac-Man machine. There it is. So let's get that over there. Okay. So what we have here, okay? My NES collection. This is not complete. This is what I've had for a couple months, but this does not include everything that I've purchased recently. But every Mega Man game, Mega Man 1 through 6, which were all the ones that were on NES, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Little Nemo the Dream Master. I ended up with 2 copies of Ninja Turtles because I accidentally bought an extra copy, not remembering that I had the game. And then I have Ninja Turtles 2, the arcade game. I've got Prince of Persia, the original. Metal Gear, okay. Blaster Master, Star Tropics, Strider, the original, Dragon Warrior, the original, which is called Dragon Quest in Japan, Batman for NES, which is a classic game a lot of people talk about, Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, that's right, not the version of Punch-Out that doesn't have Mike Tyson because they lost the license, but the actual Mike Tyson version, and Ducktales. Ducktales is actually one of the best NES games. It's a 2D platformer made by Capcom. At the time, they were making lots of 2D platformers, and including Chip 'n Dale Rescue Rangers, Ducktales, all kinds of like Disney tie-ins, and that ended up being one of the best. So let's move some of this crap here. We've got a Game Genie, and the Game Genie for NES is how I was actually able to play those Mega Man games during Mega Man Week, because the Game Genie actually bypasses any region protection and copy protection on the carts. And as you know, if you are, there's another controller I never opened for Xbox 360, if you are an NES aficionado, what unfortunately ended up happening over time with the Nintendo is that as the cartridges get older, the Nintendo thinks that they're bootleg cartridges and basically doesn't boot them properly. And if you use a Game Genie, it completely bypasses that problem, okay? So here I've got a bootleg Super NES controller. John Rambo and I did not know it was a bootleg, and then when we opened it up, we realized very shortly it is a bootleg. It doesn't have the original Nintendo decals or anything on it that it should. I have not tested this yet, but I need another Super NES controller, so that's why I got that one. And then here we've got Street Fighter 2, the original Street Fighter 2 for SNES in the box. This was actually given to me by Mars, who was one of the people who we play Super Turbo with, and it was pretty cool that he gave that to me, because I had it back in the day, and then eventually I got rid of it, and now I have it again, which is pretty sweet. So, okay, so that's that. Now we'll look at some of the Super Nintendo games, and then we're going to move on to the games that I've bought recently, because these are just games that I've had for a couple months. Basically, everything here is pretty shitty. These are games that came when I bought my Super Nintendo on eBay a couple years ago. NBA Live 95, Super NES Super Scope 6. I don't have the Super Scope, so that's useless. Gradius 3, which is a classic, but it's actually in pretty bad condition. I'm not sure if it works. True Lies, another one of the Shameless movie tie-ins from the 90s. And the original F-Zero, which is pretty cool. Madden NFL 95. American Gladiators, Super Mario All-Stars, Madden NFL 94, Super Bases Loaded, that's cool, NCAA Basketball, NBA Jam the Original, NHLPA Hockey, ABC Monday Night Football. Alright, now here's an idea that I had to do like a marathon. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Fighting Edition, and Mighty Morphin Power Rangers the Movie. I've got 3 Power Rangers games right there for SNES that I thought maybe one day I'll do like a Power Rangers marathon and see how that goes, okay? Now, some other games I got over here, Super NES games, since we're on the subject of Super NES. John Rambo actually found me Mega Man X. Because I am trying to build a Mega Man X collection of Mega Man X1 through the final one, which was, I believe, was 8. And I've been trying to build it up, and he found this at a play and trade. He got it for me for a pretty decent price. So Mega Man X, that's cool. I'm going to have to rearrange these so that they all sit properly, because right now they're all just kind of loose. Here we've got Power Rangers Battle Racers. Okay, this was a racing game. Power Rangers Zeo Battle Racers. That's another Power Rangers game I could do for like a Power Rangers marathon. And then Batman Returns for Super NES, and this is actually a really cool side-scrolling beat-em-up that ties in with the movie Batman Returns from the 90s. Really fun game. Only bummer, it's single player. I don't understand why they did that. Like, that was the era of like Final Fight and Streets of Rage, and all those games were multiplayer. And then all of a sudden they started making this line of beat-em-ups that were single player. To which I just gotta say, what the fuck were they thinking? Like, those games are made for multiplayer, and they fucking made them single player. I don't know. So anyway, let's keep going here. Take a look at some of the other stuff that I bought in recent months. I'm taking it out of a bag here so we can look at it. Ah! Getting attacked. Alright, that's Genesis. We're going to look at Genesis games later. Alright, so what we got here, move that Genesis game over. We'll look at them in order, you know what I mean, of console. Maximum Carnage, and you may say, holy shit, why is that cartridge such a bright freaking red color? And the answer was they wanted to do like a cool gimmick for this game. This game was made shortly after the comic book crossover line called Maximum Carnage. What happened was in the Spider-Man universe, at this time in the 1990s, I shit you not, there were 4 Spider-Man comic books, okay? There was Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man, Spectacular Spider-Man, and Web of Spider-Man, okay? And they were all being written by different people, and what they decided to do was to have a full crossover between all the books for like, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, where Carnage got freed from jail and basically went on a rampage recruiting second-string supervillains from the Spider-Man comic books and made this like super team of villains that were going around causing havoc in New York. And then it took actually a whole bunch of Spider-Man, Venom, and then a whole bunch of like second-string heroes from New York to come together to stop Carnage, and they made a video game out of it, just like Batman Returns, a 2D side-scroller that's single-player. What the fuck were they thinking? Because the game is actually really good. It's hard, but it's really good, but there was no reason for them to make a single-player. It boggles the mind, okay? Xmm-Newton Apocalypse, one of the best X-Men video games ever made for SNES. Not much to say about it, except the graphics were really bright and detailed and cartoonish, and I liked them. Brawl Brothers, I don't remember much about this one, besides it is a 2D side-scrolling beat-em-up, and I think it is 2 players, so that's just another one. I was like on a kick of beat-em-ups. I wanted to see how many beat-em-up games I could get, and so I got Brawl Brothers. Alright, let's see what else I got up my sleeve here. Hold on. Here's some Nintendo and Super Nintendo games we can look at. Actually, we looked out this one day where we had gone into a play and trade, and someone had just traded in a whole bunch of games. And we obviously hadn't expected that. And we were like, holy shit, look at all these games on the counter. And we ended up grabbing a bunch of them because of that. This is funny because I've been buying games for months, and this is the first time I'm actually taking them out of the bags to organize them. Because I got some downtime today. Alright, these are Super Nintendo. We'll look at those. Which we already kind of looked at those, but we'll look at them again. And then we got these, to which I look at this and I realize that I now have 2 copies of this game and I didn't even know it. But anyway. Alright, so. Super Mario Bros. 3 for NES. And it looks like originally it came from Country Video in Shelton, Connecticut. That's pretty funny. So it's funny that these games, they go through so many different game rental places, and they get traded and sold to each other, and now it ends up at Play and Trade, and now it ends up with me. So an original, it's in pretty bad shape, by the way. Ugh. So I'm hoping it works, but no, it doesn't make any sound when I shake it or anything, so I'm hoping it works. And then also, Super Mario 2, that's right. Now for those that don't know, Super Mario Bros. 2, this is a United States cartridge. This actually is not Super Mario Bros. 2. This is Doki Doki Panic, which was a game starring a bunch of like Middle Eastern people with turbans. I'm not even kidding you. And that's why, if you ever wonder, you play Super Mario 1 and you play Super Mario 2, you're like, why the hell can Mario lift things? Why the hell does everything look like such a different graphical style? And then we play Super Mario 3, most of the stuff from Super Mario 2 is absent from it. And you're like, what the hell happened? Well, the story is this isn't really Super Mario 2. Super Mario 2 is actually Super Mario Bros. 1. It looks exactly the same, but it's redone to be like a super grueling hard edition of the game, okay? And when this came out in Japan, they said Americans are probably not going to like this game. It's like sickeningly hard. And so they ended up making this. They took Doki Doki Panic and basically facelifted the graphics to make it look like Mario and Company, and called it Super Mario 2 as a filler game between Part 2 and Part 3. Why the fuck they did that is beyond any kind of like logic. I don't know. But anyway, I have another copy of Metal Gear, so now I have two, which really sucks because I didn't realize that I had it. So now I have two copies right next to each other there. That's nice. Mega Man X2, which I got at New York Comic Con from Play and Trade's booth. Okay. The Lion King sealed, brand new. I got that at New York Comic Con. You already saw that if you've been watching the Comic Con videos. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Tournament Fighters for SNES. This was the better version. There were two different versions, one for SNES and one for Genesis. They had different characters, but the SNES one was far superior when it came to graphics and gameplay. Animaniacs, which is a classic. I mean, the cartoon, I loved it as a kid. So that game, I'm sure, is going to be just as good. Alright, and now we have the three games that I bought as a gimmick, because these are all games that the Angry Video Game Nerd have played, and maybe one day I'll play them too, I don't know, but Friday the 13th, Back to the Future, and Rambo. And each one of these is a pretty pathetic. Rambo is basically a ripoff of Zelda 2: The Adventure of Link. Back to the Future is a top-down game that has nothing to do with Back to the Future. It looks more like Paperboy than anything else. And Friday the 13th is fucking stupid. So that's all I have to say about those games. So that's all the Nintendo/SNES games that I've gotten in the past several months. And now what I'd like to do is move on to some other games that I've gotten. Now, first of all, what I'd like to talk about is, as I said, I was trying to build a Mega Man X collection, okay? Now, for those of you that don't know, Mega Man X, the first three were on SNES, then there were three on PlayStation 1, and then there were two on PlayStation 2, okay? So you saw I had Mega Man X 1 and 2 for SNES. I've got Mega Man X 4, 5, and 6 right here for PlayStation 1, found them all at Play and Trade. And then over there, on my rack, right in front of you there, I've got Mega Man X7 and X8, and it's pretty funny, because at Mega Man X7, which I'll show you, they changed the game up. Oh my god, that's way too much of a close-up. For whatever reason, they said, oh, this is on PlayStation 2. We've already had 6 successful games that are all 2D side-scrollers, and, you know, everyone loves them because that's what classic Mega Man X is. So, let's completely fuck that up and make it a 3D game. Which is absolutely stupid. And they just, this is what happens every time a new system is launched. They say, oh, we have to take our classic games and try to make it modern for the new system. And apparently they completely botched it. This game got panned by critics, especially, and Mega Man X8 as well, both of them. People said they weren't very good. But I guess we'll see if I ever do get to do the marathon, if I get to X7 and X8, how different they are from the original Mega Man X games, and try to figure out why on earth they would have changed the formula like they did, okay? So we've got that. Now, what other new games have I bought recently? I'm trying to think what you haven't seen yet. Well, I did actually buy another refurbished NES pad, because I have one, and I got another one. So this is an original NES gamepad that's been refurbished by Play and Trade, cleaned up, and it works fine. So if I do play NES games, I could do 2 players, which is neat. Okay. There are some other games that I bought for Sega CD, and I will be showing those in the future, but I don't want to spoil them yet because there are a couple ideas that I've had for things that I wanted to do. But I guess going along with the Power Rangers theme, I did buy a couple additional Power Rangers game. I've got Mighty Morphin Power Rangers for the Genesis, and this will be cool to compare that to the one for the SNES and see what the differences are and which one's better. Okay, we've got Power Rangers Dino Thunder. Now, by the time that this game came out, for obviously it's PS2, there was no, I mean, this was mid-2000s, right? I'm trying to see what year this came out. 2004. I mean, no one who had watched the original Power Rangers was still into them at this point. You're talking a 10-year gap. And so this was some new iteration of Dino Thunder shit. I can't imagine what this game is. I think it might be like a weird combination of mecha combat and beat 'em up, but we got that one, and then we've also got Power Rangers Super Legends 15th Anniversary. And from what I'm to understand, this one came out, let's see, 2007. So this one is really recent, only 4 years old. This was like an anniversary game where it had famous Power Rangers from every line up to that point. So you had the original Power Rangers, you know, Power Rangers Zeo, Power Rangers Dino, Power Rangers fucking Turbo, Power Rangers Rescue Squad, Power Rangers fucking... Oh my god, I don't know. They had so many fucking different Power Rangers, it's disgusting. So anyway, it has characters from all of them, and this was when Disney had finally bought out Power Rangers, so it has the Disney symbol there. And it's supposed to be like an amalgamation, like a crossover between them all. So I got that one, okay? Now, outside of those games, what other games have I purchased recently? Well, let's see. I did pick up a copy of Sonic 2 and Sonic Knuckles. They're over there. I don't want to pull them out right now because they're kind of buried in there. But I did get those. I'm looking for a copy of Sonic 3. It seems like Sonic 3 is the rarest of all of them because I've been looking around. I just cannot find the fucking thing. So I'll keep my eye out for that one. For Genesis games, we've got Streets of Rage 2, a classic, and I hope this works. Okay. Quackshot. Now this was another one of these Disney games that were coming out at that whole time, and John Rambo actually recommended this one, said it's a really good game. Cyborgs Justice. This is one I'd never heard of, and Rambo also recommended this one, so I picked it up. It was only a couple bucks. And then when I was going through my side-scroller beat-em-up kick, I said, let's, you know, if I ever want to do like a marathon of those, you know, I got Streets of Rage, I got Maximum Carnage, I've got Batman Returns, all those. Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks. This is also a team-up between Kung Lao and Liu Kang. It's supposed to be like a 2D beat-em-up. What it has like the abilities of Mortal Kombat. I don't know. I never played it, but Rambo played it and said he liked it. And then finally, last but not least, it's probably the worst game out of all the games I've just showed you. No lie. T-Mech for 32X. I'd never heard of this game. It was $2 freaking with the box, with everything with it, the instruction manual. The graphics look god-awful. I mean, this was the whole kick of Sega CD 32X trying to go into the 3D realm, and it just failed miserably. Really, 3D games did not look good until the PlayStation 1 and/or Nintendo 64. Any attempts before that, they looked horrible. And so it's a laughable game that I picked up. So, alright, so that's it for the past couple of months of games that I've picked up at Play and Trade / Games Exchange, and I hope you enjoyed it. I will, as you can see, there's a couple different patterns that you can see with this. You could do Disney games could be one, okay, because I have a couple Disney games now that I could play. 2D side-scrollers, Power Rangers, LJN shitty games, I have enough of those. Batman, I now have Batman and Batman Returns, and also Mega Man X. The only Mega Man X I'm missing right now is Mega Man X3. I have every single one besides that. Now, there is a fan who contacted me on thekingofhate.com and said that he would be willing to donate it, and I said, sure, you know, I'd love that. However, I'm not depending on that. I'm not asking for that. A lot of times people say they want to donate something to me, and then they never do. So, I have not gotten it yet, but Mega Man X3 is the one I'm on the lookout for. Seeing if I can get it for a reasonable price or whatever, and we'll go from there. The only thing that sucks is when you buy games online without seeing them in person, you don't really know what condition they're going to be in, and that's why I've laid off from buying Mega Man X3, because if you look at the prices online, they're extremely pricey, And for me paying that much money for a game that I don't even know if it's going to work, I don't even get to see it, I've been holding off. But, alright, so that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. And, yeah, I will see you for more gameplay this week. But, just wanted to get that out of the way. I hope you enjoyed it.